In this video, I'll talk about how imperfect action is the secret to meeting the best women of your life. So I recently went out to talk to women when I was pretty sick. I wasn't dying at home, but I felt pretty bad. And it was a perfect excuse for me to stay in and watch a Netflix movie or something like that. I told myself, no, it's Friday evening. I don't want to just sit and lay at home. And I went out while being sick. And I met a girl that day that I ended up going on a date. Next day, that girl ended up being my most favorite girl that I've dated here in Madrid, and we've been dating for a few months already, and it's going great. We have a lot of emotional chemistry. We're having a lot of adventures, really cool dates, dinners, picnics. Who knows, maybe we even do a trip together. But the biggest takeaway from that is I met her while I was sick. I was sick, and if I hadn't gone out in that particular day, I would have never met her. And the thing is that it's not a coincidence. There is a reason why that happened, and there's a reason why my favorite girl I met when I wasn't feeling the best. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 4 principles of why imperfect action actually attracts the best women, and that's the secret to attracting the women in your life. It's very important to make this video because a lot of guys, they feel like, oh, well, I don't have a lot of energy today. I'm not going to go out. I don't feel like in a great mood today, so I'm not going to go out. I even had different students on the calls that are on YouTube where you can see that they've been thinking for their entire lives that they can only go out when they feel good. And in this video, we're going to break all of those beliefs, and I'll show you imperfect action really is the way to meet those really quality women. So let's start here, the reverse energy loop. So a lot of you guys, you believe that, hey, I need to have a lot of energy and then I'm gonna take action and go out talk to women. So I need to have a great week, a great day for me to go and talk to women, and that's how a lot of you operate. So for example, if you had a bad day, shitty day at work, your boss made you do a stupid project, you're tired, you feel like, well, I don't feel like talking to women right now, so I'm not gonna go out. But that's not the correct way. You don't get energy before you take action. You take action and then you take energy. So let me give you an actual example of how many times it happens even for me. You're watching all my videos and thinking, oh, well, Gus is like just extroverted. He must have a lot of energy to go out. It doesn't really happen like that. The way it happens is when you're at home, your energy is close to zero, especially if you had a long workday like a lot of you watching my channel. You have logical jobs, analytical jobs. So you finish your job and you're at zero. So you don't want to go talk to people. Then if you stay there, now this is the thing, if you stay at home, it's going to stay at zero. Your energy level is going to stay at zero. So literally if you take no action, it's going to be at zero and you're already done. Now, what happens if you step outside the home? If you step outside the home, just by that fact of you going outside, being outside, seeing the light, getting the fresh air, it's gonna bump up a little bit. And I'm sure a lot of you would agree, just by stepping outside of your home, that's actually the hardest part. So it's gonna be a 2. Okay, so you're outside your home, you walk around a little bit, and slowly but surely you start to feel a little bit better. I mean, not great, but maybe you're at 3. Now, the difficult part, now you actually have to talk to someone. So you manage to talk to just one person. Maybe you just ask for a direction, or you say an innocuous comment to someone, not even a girl. Suddenly it goes to 5, because as soon as you break that social barrier and you break that social interaction barrier, I've noticed that for me and a lot of my students, the energy immediately goes up, even if it's not a girl, even if it's just an innocuous comment for 5 seconds. So now we're already at 5. Then you give a few compliments. You start maybe talking to a few girls. You give a compliments. Now you're even more, right? Like, and now it's going to 6. And after that, you have this one magical interaction where it just seems to go well, and the girl loves you. Even if she doesn't give you a contact and doesn't end up going anywhere, you just had that positive interaction for 2 to 3, 4 minutes, and suddenly you're at 9 or 10. And you started at 0, and now you're at 9 and 10. And all it took was for you to go outside, talk to someone, give a few compliments, and then you had this one amazing interaction. And this one amazing interaction, this is what's going to give you the energy then to go and talk to more women and give yourself more chances to meet that great girl. But you're not going to get here if you don't step outside of your house and you just stay at home, right? Like, this is not where you're going to get energy. The principle number 2, authenticity beats state. So there's a lot of talk in the community about how your state is super important, your state is everything, and I have to admit, your state is pretty important because that's essentially your energy. But it's very hard to fake your state. It's very hard to fake your energy. So if you don't feel like talking to anyone and you're kind of down, if you try to be up, fake it until you make it, it's gonna be pretty obvious and you're not gonna be authentic. And so I wouldn't say it's good to try to fake it. It can actually have the opposite effect. When you approach a girl and you're actually pretty down, but you have this like high energy, you're trying to fake it, they're gonna sense that inauthenticity. And actually with this particular girl that I met, I approached her with very low energy because I was very low energy. I was sick. I didn't feel like going out. So I approached her, and I approached her on a very high energy street. So here in Madrid, it was the busiest street, the loudest street. So very high energy, and I approached her very low energy. And still, it worked out pretty well. Because, number one, I was authentic, and also, what's interesting is she was also on a low energy. Because she had just worked the whole evening, and we just had that good, interesting mesh that I was low energy because I was a bit sick. She was low energy because she had the whole work day. And if I had tried to kind of fake it, then it wouldn't have worked out well and we wouldn't even have matched. Now, why is authenticity more important than state? For 2 reasons. So number 1, it creates safety because you're, again, signaling to the women that you're congruent with your thoughts, words, energy, and actions, and you're not trying to fake it. But even more important, it's status, right? The ability to be yourself and not fearing others' judgments shows a lot of status, because a lot of guys would try to fake it. Even when I'm talking, in my situation, when I talked to that girl, I was pretty low energy, right? And a lot of guys would have just been like, hey, what's up? Where are you going? And I was like, yeah, what's up, right? Like, I mean, that's not what I said, but that was my energy. And she liked it, right? For those reasons, because I was able and willing to be myself and not change how I act and be inauthentic just because the situation demands myself to be more high energy because I'm talking to her. So state is important, yes, but authenticity will always beat state. The reason number 3 that imperfect action will allow you to meet your dream woman is that it creates detachment. When you were a teenager, you probably had a teenage crush. As with everyone, even me, I had multiple teenage crushes. And of course, I would never end up talking to them, or I would just wait months to talk to them. And if you've had this experience, you know that the longer you wait, the harder it becomes and you become more attached. The reason is that perfectionism creates a lot of attachment. Perfectionism creates a lot of attachment. And essentially what you're trying to do, if you think about it holistically here, by trying to do a perfect action, you are waiting, and that creates a lot of attachment. Why? So first of all, emotional investment before acting, aka mental movie. When you're trying to get perfect conditions for you to take this action, you're creating a mental movie of how things should be. That just happens. That's how we are wired. And when you have this movie, you're having, by nature, an attachment to how it should go. But when you take immediate action, imperfect action, you don't have that mental movie, so you don't have that attachment. And in Success with Women and dating, when you are attached to something, that makes the attraction go down, right? Women feel a lot less attracted to you when you're attached to a particular outcome. The other thing is anticipation builds dopamine. Have you ever felt like you are thinking about how things should go with a particular girl, and it just starts to feel heavy? Like, it starts to feel heavy in your body, starts to feel heavy in your mind. There's a reason for that, because you're essentially building dopamine by anticipation. And when you build that dopamine, it's very hard to act, and you just feel very heavy without really taking much action. That's why you can feel super tired thinking about a particular situation with a girl when you actually haven't talked to her. And number 3 is that it gives you scarcity, which higher the stakes, right? Because if you had just gone talk to that girl in that imperfect moment, you can immediately do it again and again and again. So you have a lot more chance at the goal. While when you wait and you wait for months, let's say with that teenage crush, you only have one moment because you've been building up all of this energy, mental energy, even physical energy, all this preparation to talk to this one girl. And if it doesn't go well, I guess you have to wait for the next crush or the next few months. So this builds up a lot of stakes, and that's not very good. Hence, this creates attachment. So you want to actually detach, because an imperfect action eliminates all of this, right? There's no mental movie, there's no dopamine built up, so you feel pretty light to do this, and you have a lot more abundance because you can take more shots at the goal. And finally, the number 4 reason why imperfect action is the secret to meeting the best women is that it increases your probability, man. Let's say it's Friday night and you've had a long week, you don't feel like it, you had a shitty week, you're planning on staying at home and watching Netflix. Now, if you stay at home, no matter how good or bad you are with women, your chance of meeting your dream girl is literally 0%. 0%, because you're not out there. There's no potential way. They're not gonna magically show up to your door, right? Like, that's not gonna happen. Now, if you go out in a bad state, even if you don't feel like it, even if you feel lazy, even if you feel like shit, your probability to meet your dream woman is X%. And X obviously depends on your skills, your social abilities, but the important thing is that X will always be bigger than 0. It might be 1, it might be 2, it might be 0.1, but that is always better than 0. And the thing is that most guys sabotage their chances of meeting their dream girl by choosing and opting to stay at home. And when you stay at home, you are literally big fat 0. Those are your chances to meet your dream girl. So most guys, rather than take a shot at goal, rather than have a chance to meet their dream girl, they choose to go at 0. And this is why you are sabotaging your dating life when you choose to stay at home. You have to go outside your home. You cannot just wait for the perfect conditions. You have to go, because that's how you get that shot at goal. Maybe you meet her today, maybe you meet her tomorrow. Maybe, just like me, you go on a shitty day when you don't feel like it, on a busy street, and you meet that girl. That is how you create this moment. And of course you need to increase your skill level, right? Like, X matters, because if you're twice as skillful, you have twice the probability to meet that dream girl. But you also need to take shots at goal, right? Ultimately, you need to play, just like in a casino. You know, I used to watch poker, and my favorite poker player was Phil Ivey. He's very, very good. Even if you're Phil Ivey, you have to sit down at the poker player and play, right? So in this scenario, even if your skills are very good or very bad, either way, you have to play. And the interesting thing is that imperfect action does both. It increases your skill level, so it increases this X, where the chances of meeting the dream girl, and it also allows you to put shots at goal. Because when you take no action, you have 0 chance to meet the dream girl, and you're not also improving your ability or skills or the probability that you're gonna meet that girl. So imperfect action does both. Finally, if you would like to learn how to take imperfect action when you don't feel like it and be motivated to take action when you don't feel like it, and also improve your skill level so that your X, or the probability that you meet your dream woman, increase, this is what we work on every week with guys in my private mentorship. I'm on a call with you one-on-one, guiding you, motivating you to go out in your city to talk to women. I teach you my unscripted flirting method, the same method I use in my videos that you see online with me talking to women. I give you feedback on your conversations, and more importantly, I push you to take imperfect action, even on the days that you don't feel like it, because you also have other members, other students that you can meet all around the world in the same situation as you, with a lot of anxiety, with a lot of fear, with a lot of doubt, and they still push themselves to go out and take imperfect action, and hence they both improve on their skill level and the probability to meet their dream woman, and also they learn how to take imperfect action so they can gain more energy, be more authentic, be more detached, and increase their probability to meet their dream woman. If this is something potentially interesting, check out the first link in the description. You can book a call to speak with me, and we can see if this could be a potentially good fit for you.